Good morning. Hope everyone is having a wonderful morning. For some time now, God has been dealing with me about sharing my story or parts of my story. Someone told me, wait until you write the book and it's all in the book, then you can say to somebody, it's in the book, so you read the rest of the story. But I just felt God really pressing on my heart to share. After I share this, I know some people are going to be offended. Some people are going to ask me, why am I putting my business out there like that? Some people are going to be upset, even though the names will not be mentioned, or even though this is my story, they're going to be upset at the fact that I'm sharing my story. My hope and my prayer is that somebody will listen to this and they will be encouraged and they'll be strengthened and they'll see that if God did this for me, they can do the same thing for them. No, I'm not doing this to seek any pity. I'm not doing this so somebody could feel sorry for me. And as a matter of fact, a lot of people did not even know I went through this. So this is not for somebody to look at it and say, oh my gosh, if I had known. I just want somebody to look at this and say, wow, look at God. So 3 years ago, I decided to leave with my daughter. A marriage that was not working, that was not benefiting myself or my daughter. It was only benefiting the other partner. And I didn't know where to go. Honestly and truly did not know where to go. I had reached out to my dad about coming to stay with him. Those plans fell through. And certain other plans fell through. If family members had had the space for my daughter and I to come, I'm sure they would have gladly opened the door and said, come in. Based on the space that they had at the time, that was not a possibility. So before anybody go and bash in, my family, whosoever was near and could help did offer whatever kind of help they could. If it's in terms of helping me to find a place to go, even saying I could temporarily stay there for a while, they did offer some sort of solution. Or even if it's, you know what, I know somebody's renting a room, but they did offer some sort of solution. But anyway, any open doors that I saw possible for my daughter and I were closed. And at that time, I was like, God, what am I going to do? All these doors are closing in my face. One person in particular I was supposed to go stay with, my daughter and the person ended up catching COVID. And at that time, you know that that person needed to be isolated and all of that. So that was not working either. So I set out to figure out what to do because at this time, my daughter's father, ex-husband now, was in Nigeria at the time. And I decided this is the time I wanted to leave. Because if he was at the apartment, there was no way I was going to leave. Because he would have stopped me from leaving. So I said, God, I don't know where to go. And based on the circumstances of what was going on, I ended up finding and calling a domestic violence shelter. I called them, and they gave me a certain amount of time. They said, hey, you have, if I remember, it was like 48 hours to take the room that we have available. And I was like, I have nowhere else to go, so I'm going to take the room. We took the room, and this was in September of 2020. We took the room. It was somewhere here in New York. We took the room and we went there not knowing what to expect, not knowing what was going to happen and where God was going to lead us. And as bad as the situation may seem, it was one of the best decisions that I made. We went, my daughter got into school, we got help that we needed, I should say, I got counseling, met some people, and the good thing is, everywhere we went, people always loved my daughter and loved me because we tend to be like, you know what, we don't give trouble. If anybody needed to come into our room to do an inspection, or if anything needed fixing, or whatever it was, we just say, you know what, you guys need to do what you have to do, so do it. And we stayed there, and it was good until someone at my daughter's school got COVID. And my daughter and I had to stay separated. And they decided to move us out of the room we were in. At this time, we were sharing. My daughter and I had one room, and there was another person that had another room. But this place was big. Like, the units had kitchen, bathroom, living room area, and bedrooms. So they moved my daughter and I across to the other side in our own location. And it was on the lower floor because before we were on the sixth floor. And it was hard going up with the stroller, going up with the groceries. And when my daughter didn't want to move from the stairs, she didn't want to go up, it was hard. So now we're on the second floor and it's like, wow, good. We're in the apartment for a while, or the unit, and things are going good. I'm like, yes, now my daughter, I don't have to worry about her making so much noise. We're together, no issues. As I said, we got there in September, and by December, January, we were in our next unit because of COVID. No, my daughter didn't have COVID, and I didn't have COVID, but because of contact with somebody that had COVID, we had to move. So there we are, and things are going good. Until about February, March, I started noticing rats. And I was like, no. I was hearing them, and I would see the feces on the clothes that I had in containers, like the cloth containers on the floor. And I reported it, and I was upset because I'm like, where are these coming from? And they came and they checked and they said, oh, we don't see no hole, we don't see nothing. And at that time, there was no mess, there was nothing. I didn't know how they were coming in until they finally discovered that there was a hole. The location where we lived at the time, the street had a bunch of restaurants. That area is known for those kind of infestations. So when it started to happen, I was like, I can't do this. And I'm going to tell you, I'm afraid of rats. I don't like rats whatsoever. If they're dead, I'll throw it away because it's dead. It can't harm me. But if it's alive, mm-mm. So it continued for a while. And then they decided that, okay, we're going to move you. I told them, I said, you know what? I don't even want to be on the same floor. And I remember one of the directors saying to me, I don't want you to move. I remember one day your daughter was fussy and you sang a song to her and it helped calm her down. I know back then and even still today, sometimes when she's fussy, I'll sing, Yes, Jesus Loves Me. And that will help to calm her down a bit. So they moved me. They moved us. And they moved us directly across the hall. Don't know why. When I went, I saw rat droppings and I was like, no. So I saw the droppings and I alerted them. And somebody came and did an inspection and said, there's nothing here. Um, we don't see nothing. Everywhere is clean. And I was like, mm-mm. Then I started to see the rats. The good thing is, all my food and stuff was out of reach. So the rats could not have gotten to it. That's a good thing. But then it started getting to me. There was one night I decided that, okay, the rat is in the room where I'm sleeping, so I'm not gonna sleep in this room with this rat. And I decided to sleep in the bathtub. I decided to go in the bathroom, make the bathtub comfortable, and sleep in there, my daughter and I. The next morning I woke up, I saw rat droppings on the bed. I went in the room to clean, to sweep, and I said, how did the rats get on the bed? By this time, I'm still telling them, and they had somebody else come out and check. Eventually, I had to leave because they had to put down stuff in the apartment, and my daughter and I couldn't be there for that time. The guy came and checked, and the rats did a very good job at hiding. Because they came and put down the poison and stuff, and they claimed they didn't see anything. So you know me now, after complaining so many times about this rat that I'm seeing, and them not believing me, it's making it seem like I'm a little bit, crazy in the head. So my case manager at the time came upstairs with me when I returned. And I asked her, I'm asking her what did they say and stuff like that. And my daughter didn't want to go upstairs, so she decided she's going to help me go up there. We stood in the bedroom and we were talking about, what happened, what did they say and stuff. And out ran the rat from the closet. And this lady took off faster than Usain Bolt. And she bolted downstairs. And then my daughter and I followed. And she went down screaming, I saw the rat, I saw the rat. So since they decided that they weren't going to do anything about it, I decided, you know what? My daughter and I are no longer sleeping in this room. So we took up residency in the tub. Every night we would sleep in the tub. I would pack it up with the sheets and the pillows and the cushions from the couch. I would bring everything in the bathroom that I know I needed. As a diabetic, I made sure, as gross as it might sound, I made sure I had my candy for when, I wasn't feeling well. I made sure everything was to my daughter's comfort, to my comfort. And that's what we did. And I got tired of it. And I basically said to them, I said, if you guys are not going to do anything about it, send me to my next location. Which we were only supposed to stay at that shelter for 7 months. And they let us stay longer because we weren't giving any trouble. We behaved. Any paper they asked me for, I gave it to them as quickly as possible. The workers loved us and the workers advocated for us to have a different place to sleep. But they said, oh, we just changed her. We can't change her again. So it continued like that until they decided that, okay, we're going to send you to your next location. We were in the city, which is Manhattan, and they said, somebody's gonna call you for your next location. It's not for the call. So because it was COVID, and I knew that a lot of people were working from home, and a lot of people never called you from their work number. Sometimes it's unknown or black. I would answer every call. And if a strange number came up and I didn't hear when the person called, I would call them back. This place swore up and down that the people called me, and nobody called me. My daughter and I wanted to stay in Manhattan because she was going to school there, and her next school location was in Manhattan. She had already got it accepted to another school. It didn't work out. They moved us from Manhattan to Queens. And when they moved us to Queens, we ended up in a regular shelter. And I was so disappointed at the place I ended up in. It was so dirty. They didn't know that we were coming. They didn't expect us to be there. There was no cleaning done, no prep. And looking back on where I was coming from in Manhattan, I was like, what on earth? It was night and day. Night and day. But I made sure I made the best of the situation for my child and I. I did everything I was supposed to do. By this time, it was 2021. And I did everything. It was from April of that year, 2021, to May 2022. And we stayed there. My daughter went to school. I did all I was supposed to. Every paperwork that they needed. Every time they came and they did inspection, we passed inspections. Anytime there was a problem with anything, they could come in and do whatever they wanted to do. Again, everybody loved us. Everybody liked us. We had no problems with nobody. We were good. We were good in that situation. We did everything we were supposed to do. As I said, no problems with nobody until until things started to change. For now, I will stop there and continue the rest of the story.